Twisted terror, terror's cry. Twisted terrors in the body, that funny man of fuse that
You're watching Twisted Terrors. Now your host, Zomboy.
What is going on, horror fanatics? Zomboy here, and you're watching another episode of Twisted Terrors. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about 2026's Hokum. This movie is directed by Damian McCarthy. This is the same director that did Caveat and Oddity, two other movies I liked. It's rated R. Comes in at an hour and 47 minutes long. IMDb has this one rated as a 6.7 out of 10. Letterboxd has it rated as a 3.3 out of 5. I'll read the plot. When novelist Owen Bauman retreats to a remote inn to scatter his parents' ashes, he is consumed by tales of a witch haunting the honeymoon suite. Disturbing visions and a shocking disappearance force him to confront the dark corners of his past. The tagline for this one is, "We've been expecting you." This movie is starring Adam Scott as Owen Bauman, Peter Coonan as Mal, David Wilmot as Jerry, and Florence Ordesh as Fiona. So let's talk about it. This movie starts off, you meet Owen Bauman. He is a writer from America who decides to travel to Ireland to spread his mom and dad's ashes at a hotel in the middle of nowhere where they had their honeymoon. And he ends up checking into the same hotel, shows a picture to one of the guests to find this tree in a picture to spread mom and dad's ashes. You find out that Ohm is an absolute turd. He's rude to everyone around him right away, even checking into the hotel. The guy recognizes a name, says his son's a big fan, wants to know if he can bring a book in to get signed. He automatically says no.
Wait. Bowman. I know that name. I think my son is a fan of yours. Oh, maybe I could bring in my son's book and you could sign it for him.
No. He's short, he's rude, he's condescending to pretty much everyone around him. He finds out a story about the honeymoon suite in this hotel that is now closed, and no one is allowed up there because the hotel owner has trapped a witch up there, and he had to seal it off to keep the witch inside. And this movie follows along as Ohm is trying to find out a little bit more about the witch. He ends up trying to kill himself, but is saved after he hung himself by Fiona, who works at the hotel. When he gets back from the hospital from that whole ordeal, he finds out Fiona is missing. She's been missing for a week. So the rest of this movie is him trying to find out what happened to Fiona, and at the same time work through some personal demons of his life, and then also the closed honeymoon suite and the witch inside. So I'll leave it there. I am going to spoil a lot from this point going on, so if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out and come back and watch from this point going on. But you find out Owen Bauman, he lost his mom when he was little. He's telling Fiona, one of the hotel workers, that she was killed. She was shot after she got home from work, and the person that shot her was too young to convict, and they should have hung him, but he got away. The dad got really upset and ended up becoming a heavy drinker, which ruined their relationship, and then he ended up dying as well. So he has traveled to this hotel to spread mom and dad's ashes at the place they had their honeymoon. After spreading his ashes, he meets a guy named Jerry. He's a crazy dude that lives in the woods with this big beard, and he is on mushrooms. He's drinking mushroom milk, and he's explaining to Owen Bauman that ghosts are real. People just can't see them because you have to open yourself up by taking these mushrooms, and that he sees them all the time. And if you're not on the mushrooms, you just can't see them.
It's all natural. I pick, dry, grind the mushrooms myself. And I like it with goat's milk.
Staring into your own eyes on mushrooms deepens the trip.
He goes to a bar that night after spreading mom and dad's ashes. That's where you meet Fiona. She works at the hotel at the bar. She's telling him stories all about the honeymoon suite and the witch trapped inside.
It's haunted. By a witch. Mr. Cobb says they managed to lock her in there years ago.
And at the same time, you meet Albie, who is a busboy at the hotel, who is a big fan of Ohm and wants to know if Ohm will look at one of his manuscripts. But Ohm is being really rude, and he's always carrying this recorder. And at one point, he says that
Idea for a character. Oblivious charisma vacuum. Is completely incapable of reading a room.
meaning he just wants him to leave. And at one point, he heats up a spoon on a candle and burns Albie in the hand and tells him he's going to need thicker skin if he ever wants to become a writer. And so you find out that Ohm is just not a nice person. And that night, after drinking, he goes back to his room, and Fiona feels like there's something wrong, so she ends up going up there to check on him and finds him hung from the ceiling by a rope. Ends up cutting him down with this little saw she has. He gets rushed to the hospital where they're able to save his life. So he comes back to the hotel to collect his things. He wants to thank whoever found him, and when he finds out it was Fiona, wants to tell her thank you and that he's sorry that she had to find him like that. And he finds out that Fiona has been missing for 5 days now. No one knows where she went. So the story starts turning into a whodunit, where did she go film, and he starts trying to find where she went. And they are saying that Jerry, the mushroom guy from the woods, was the last to see her. He actually lives in the woods because he killed his wife and is on the run. And so they suspect he did something. So, of course, Ohm goes to find Jerry because he knows where he's at. Jerry tells him it's true. He did kill his wife, but only because she wanted him to, because she was in so much pain, because she was very sick. And again says that he needs to get into the honeymoon suite because he knows Fiona is dead because he saw her spirit. She told him she was in the honeymoon suite and he stole the key. So that night, Jerry and Ohm decide to go to the hotel after everyone leaves to go check out the honeymoon suite. When they go there, you find Fergal. He is one of the employees there. He's kind of the badass one, and he ends up attacking Jerry and taking him zip-tied into the back of his van to take him to the police. But he didn't know Ohm was there, so after they leave, Ohm goes up to the honeymoon suite and heads on in. He goes in there and he's exploring the honeymoon suite and he's not seeing anything, and for some reason he ends up going to sleep in the bed. And he wakes up to Mal, the son-in-law to the owner, and he wakes him up and wants to know what he's doing up there.
It's all right. It's all right.
What are you doing here?
You're asking me. I got a phone call from Mr. Cobb in a panic saying the honeymoon key was missing. What were you thinking?
She saved me. I wanted to help find her. I don't know.
He tells him, you can't be up here. We gotta go. We've already looked up here and you can't be up here. And so he's trying to shoo him out. And that's when Ohm sees the dumbwaiter in the wall. So he goes over there, and at this point, Mal's getting really upset, telling him he's gonna have him arrested, and he hits the button, and up comes Fiona's dead body. She's dressed in a Halloween costume as a rabbit, because that's what she dressed up for as Halloween. And of course, Mal locks him in the suite and leaves. Ohm notices that Fiona's body has his recorder by her hand, and he ends up grabbing it, and she made a final will and testimony on the recorder. Everything came out. She said she was pregnant and that it was Mel's baby, who is married to the owner's daughter. And he was extremely upset when she said she was going to keep it. So he ended up drugging her and putting her in the dumbwaiter down to the basement to starve to death so he could get away with no one knowing their secret. But she made this recording spilling her guts that he was afraid to lose everything, including his marriage, because he was unfaithful and slept with Fiona. And that's why she went missing and put her in the dumbwaiter, where he knew no one was allowed to go. So the perfect place to hide a body. Holmes just trying to get out, and this is the first time you start seeing things in the background. You see people walking, doors opening, reflections of things that aren't there, and there's some great tense scenes here where he's trying to remove a screw, and you can see spirits walking up and kneeling behind him. When he turns around, there's no one there. And the tension in this scene is great, because I love the ones where you can see what's going on, but the character can't. He's trying to find a way out. He can't find a way. So he ends up taking Fiona's body out of the dumbwaiter to go down, and travels down into the basement, which is these dark, nasty, dirty, dank hallways. There's all these sounds down there, and then he's got a timer on his watch. He finds some chalk with a bunch of glyphs on the wall with a door drawn in chalk, and then he starts hearing something, and his watch goes off letting him know that the button's about to be pushed. So of course he runs back to the dumbwaiter and gets in. You get this crazy scene of you can hear something coming towards him, but it's in the pitch black, and right before the dumbwaiter starts going up, this face pops out of the dark, and it's the witch. So he goes up the dumbwaiter, and when he gets to the top, he's looking down, and the witch is crawling straight up the shaft that goes down to the basement towards him. So of course he locks himself in another room when this witch gets in and starts trying to get to him. And he remembers a story that Fiona told him about witches and drawing a circle on the ground in chalk, and a witch can't get you. So he draws this big chalk circle around the bed, ends up crawling in the bed, and the witch comes in the room and can't get to him. And this bed is like an old Victorian bed with these sheeting, so he can't see the witch, but he can hear her. So Jerry gets away from Fergal and ends up coming back to the hotel, where he finds Mel. And Mel's telling him to just get out of here, and he said he needs to find Ohm. He tells him, I took him to town to get a taxi to the airport. And Jerry doesn't want to leave, finally does, but he comes back and says something doesn't feel right. Ends up confronting him and gets the key and goes up to the honeymoon suite anyways, where he's yelling through the door. Ohm's yelling back. Jerry ends up helping him get out, but just as he helps him get out, Mel shows up with a crossbow, shooting Jerry in the head, and he is now dead. And he gets right back in the elevator to go down and finds out he can't get out because the gate locked, and he needs the key. And Jerry had the key. So he goes back up to the honeymoon suite again, but unfortunately for him, Ohm grabbed the key already. The only way he can get away is if he goes back down the dumbwaiter again. So he's heading down the dumbwaiter, back into the dark, dingy basement. As soon as he gets down there, of course, Jerry hits the button, calling it back up, and starts coming down. So the first thing Ohm does is he starts drawing a big circle on the ground, and the witch shows up. Goes back to Mel, and Mel's calling him, telling him they need to leave, and that there's a fire and the place is gonna burn down, and you can hear the fire alarm going off, and next thing you know, he is shackled by the witch. He's being dragged down the hallway towards these doors by chains and shackles, and that's when you notice Ohm sitting on the ground as the witch passes, but he is also in shackles. She got to him before he could finish the circle, and he's just sitting there crying because he realizes this is the end. And he has a vision of his mother telling him that he can't be there and that's not where he's supposed to be. And he's holding her hand in his hallucination, and when he comes out of it, she's gone, but he feels something in his pocket, and he pulls out the saw that Fiona used to cut him down, and he's able to cut his chains before he starts getting pulled towards the door. And when the door opens, you can see into the gates of hell, and there's demons and arms and glowing eyes, and the witch is laughing, dragging Mel into the room to his death, we think. The last scene is him getting back into the dumbwaiter, going back upstairs, opening the gate with the key, going out where he collapses in smoke until Fergal is calling out for anybody, and he hears a noise, which is definitely not Ohm, because he is passed out. I think it was Ohm's mom, because it sounded like a girl calling out, but he finds him and takes him out, and he's in the hospital, and he's already told everyone his story, and they told him they found 2 bodies in there, which was Jerry and Fiona's, but they have not found Mal's yet. And then Albie comes to visit and apologizes and said he did something really inappropriate, and he feels like this whole thing is his fault. After he burned him, he went up to his room and spiked his whiskey with some of Jerry's magic mushrooms. He had drank the whole flask, so instantly he wonders, was this whole thing in his head? And he looks down, but his wrists have shackle bruises on them, so he realizes it really happened.
You know, all these things do exist. It's just people with closed minds can't see him.
And that is the end of the movie. I absolutely loved this movie. Everything about it, I absolutely loved. This movie knows how to build tension, and it knows how to hold tension. And I love some of the scenes where there's something visual going on, but the sounds really add to it as well, and it does a great job with the tension. The acting from everyone in this is phenomenal. When he goes down into the basement, you can hear the fire alarm going off upstairs, and it's a really neat scene because as the dumbwaiter's going down, the octaves on the alarm are dropping and dropping as well, to the point where when he gets down into the basement, it's dropped like 2 octaves, and it's all drawn out now to this really eerie, creepy, like almost Silent Hill alarm, air raid alarm almost going off, which really adds to the tension of this already creepy basement. And I absolutely love that detail, and I love that you can watch that scene and you could just hear the octaves coming down, and it was meant to mess with your mind, and I love that. The set design was amazing. I love the Irish feel. The hotel is amazing, especially when you get to the like abandoned honeymoon suite. Everything about that was awesome. I loved Jerry. He was a crazy character, but I absolutely loved how pure his character was. Everyone in this movie made him out to be the bad guy, but he seemed like the caring, loving friend to Fiona, and I really dug his character. The use of darkness in the movie I thought was really done well. The only thing I would say is I wish we got more of the witch. When she was on screen, it was awesome, but it was very short, and there wasn't much of a backstory to it. Earlier in the movie, the owner of the hotel is telling a story to some kids about a witch that would shackle children and lost people and drag them into a cave, which is kind of a precursor to what happens in the movie. So you get a little taste of it, but not too much. And this movie is really more of an eerie horror whodunit film, and I like that. And so far Caveat was like that, and then Oddity was the same way. And there's a lot of things from those movies that he put in this movie as well. Like the bell in the lobby that he rings is the same bell that was in Oddity. The rabbit people, there's rabbits in all of his movies. Caveat, it's a rabbit. And then this one, you get this rabbit person on TV. Fiona dresses as a rabbit. And I think that all comes back to a childhood fear of McCarthy's from an old cartoon called Watership Down from 1978, which is a cartoon, but it is pretty terrifying. He says that movie did some damage. And then if you look in Oddity, in the background in one of the scenes in her room of oddities, there is the rabbit from Caveat as well. And then also there's a couple that checks in this movie, and I read online and I couldn't tell, but they say it's the same couple as in Caveat in the same clothing, and if you look in her purse, there is the rabbit from Caveat sticking out of her purse as she's checking into the hotel as well. McCarthy has come forward and he says he wants to kill as many main characters in his movies as possible by the end of each script, so studios can't push him into a sequel or some kind of franchise building. So he tries to kill off as many people as possible, and in this one he does the same. Fiona dies, Mel dies, Jerry dies, you know, all these main characters die. And Adam Scott, he spent almost 21 days filming alone in the hotel suite scene without any other actors present to give him the more feel of isolation. And he said it was emotionally draining but necessary to portray Ohm's unraveling in the movie. So I was a little worried in the beginning of this movie when it started because I did not like Ohm. He's a jerk. I didn't care about him, and that worries me because if I don't care about the main guy, then I don't care about any of the outcomes. But I dug that they dig in further to where you find out why Ohm is a turd. He has all this baggage from when he was little. He was playing with his dad's gun, and his mom got home from work, and it went off, and it killed her. The dad was so upset he turned into an alcoholic. They didn't have a relationship until dad ended up dying from drinking. And the whole movie, you know, in the beginning when he's talking to Fiona, he talks about his mom got shot and that the person was too young to be tried and he should be hung. I mean, talk about a precursor to what he was planning on doing because he brought rope with him. So obviously he went there to spread the ashes of his parents, basically as an apology, and he was going to take his own life before Fiona found him and saved him. You know, when you don't like someone, that could ruin a movie, but this one it worked because you see Ohm transform into the bitter, hoody-toody, treating everyone like crap to... You can see him transform into a better person. Even by the end of the movie, he's kind of apologizing to people and reconciling, and there's a scene in the movie where he's speaking to his mom and he's just telling her it was an accident and that he's sorry, and she says she knows, and it's this kind of sweet moment where you can tell he's just had all of this pent up emotions and he's never been able to get them out, and he finally gets this kind of release knowing mom understands and he can move on. And so at the end of this movie, even Albie comes in, who he treated terrible in the beginning, but he changes his mind in the end and he decides to look at his manuscript, and then he also rewrites the book. The movie starts off with a book he's writing and it's terrible. It's this guy and a kid traveling through the desert, and he's following a map that's in a bottle, and he keeps on taking the cork out, and then the cork ends up breaking and he can't get the cork out to see the map, so he's gonna smash the glass, killing the kid to get the map out. And then he ends up at the end of the movie rewriting that to where he decides that the kid is all he needs. He doesn't need the treasure, and that the friendship with the kid is enough, and ends up chucking the bottle. And so you can see his personality change throughout the movie, and I like that as well. And there's a lot of things in this movie. I saw something online saying to watch the reflection in his glasses because they show what's really going on, and that there's like time things happening that show up in the glasses. But honestly, I went back and watched it a second time and I didn't see it. But what I read online was you can see shadows of people moving that aren't there. You can also see like where he closes a door and then seconds later the door closes in his reflection of his glasses. And then the things that don't show up there are things that he's hallucinating because he's on mushrooms, but the witch does show up on the reflection because she's real. If that's true, that is amazing, and the attention to detail is outstanding. But I didn't see it, but I did see the bell from Oddity. I did see the rabbit from Caveat in this. So I love the fact that they're all kind of tied together in the same universe but not connected at all. And I dug the characters in this movie. All his movies have rabbits. They all have dead corpses that look totally creepy. He does a great job with that, but this movie I highly recommend. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. This is one I think I've seen 3 times now, and every time I notice something different, and I like that about this movie. You pick up on little nuances that you didn't notice the last time you watched it. So Zomboy says, for me, this is going to be a buy. I definitely want to add this one to my collection. And what did you think? Put it down in the comments down below. Is this something you enjoyed? Did you not? What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? Like for me, the likes far outweigh the dislikes, and I cannot wait to see what Damian McCarthy has up his sleeve for the next movie. So far, he is 3 for 3 for me. So this is Zomboy saying thank you for watching another video. I will see you on the next one. Keep it scary. Bye.
What dies, kids? I was playing with my dad's gun and it went off. What are the 2 things we don't ever play with, kids? And that's right, Well, it's pretty simple. Your dad told you not to go near his gun, but you did anyway, and his wife got her brains blown out.